Events in the months leading up to the Taliban takeover last year moved at a dizzying pace, nearly 20 years after the group was first ousted from power. In April, newly elected US President Joe Biden said it was time to end America's forever war, and he commits to withdrawing the remaining US troops by September 11. But that was later brought forward to the end of August, and it became an opportunity for the Taliban to quickly advance through the country. And when the US left Bagram, its most important airfield, it was overrun by the Taliban. US nationals were evacuated from their embassy in Kabul, and other countries followed. August 15, and as the Taliban move into Kabul, the Afghan government collapses. President Ashraf Ghani flees the country. Chaotic scenes follow as thousands crowd Kabul's international airport, hoping to get on flights. The speed of the takeover taking Afghans and the world by surprise.
Early morning quiet wreathes the hills of Kabul, but on this anniversary morning, it is quiet born of turmoil, suffering and deprivation, as humanitarians on the ground attest.
The future is very bleak. We see this as a precipice, and we are driving towards the precipice without even a safety belt on.
A year to the day after Taliban fighters paraded their newfound power in the presidential palace, their leadership seemingly caught by surprise.
We were not expecting to get to where we are now at this speed.
What's been rapid since is deepening civilian hardship. The economy is in freefall. The World Bank says Afghanistan lost 15 years of economic growth just in the first 10 months of Taliban rule. That means people are going hungry. The World Food Programme says over half the country's population now lives below the poverty line. Almost 9 million Afghans today face emergency levels of food insecurity. And then there's education. Girls aged 12 and up banned from class. The United Nations estimates 1.1 million girls are no longer allowed to attend school. The ruling Taliban requests patience.
We have been through 4 decades of conflict, and the priority of the West is having women being represented at different levels. And what we're advocating and asking for is a level of understanding and respect for the priorities of the state of Afghanistan.
Over the weekend, the Taliban employing gunfire when Afghan women in Kabul marched for their human rights. Nor is it only women speaking out. Abdul's brother was killed in a bomb attack in the capital this month.
On the one hand, the economic situation is difficult. On the other, security is getting worse day by day. We still see the same explosions and suicide attacks we saw in the past.
The United Nations assesses that the security situation is becoming increasingly fragile, though the Taliban can point to a dramatic decrease in civilian casualties since their battle for power ended. Not over the pain of separation. Human rights activist Masouda Kohistani fled Kabul to Europe for her own safety a year ago. Her mother, who tried but couldn't get out, clutches the phone, as close as they've been since the Taliban came to power. Pruluan SBS World News.
When the Taliban regained power, there were fears in particular for how life would change for women and girls and whether they'd lose rights they'd fought hard for. Well, over the last 12 months, harsh rules were imposed, including restrictions on education and employment.
It's a man's world. Afghanistan, a country. But the rules are now set by the ultra-conservative Taliban. Spaces which had opened up for women have now been slammed shut. We met 3 generations of women whose lives speak loudly about their world. Many are afraid. They don't want to be identified. This woman used to be a senior official in the finance ministry. Last year, the Taliban told her, stay at home. A man would take her job.
I worked for more than 17 years in the finance ministry. It was difficult with children, family, and work, but I went to university and got my master's degree. We spent so much time to get here. Now we are back to zero. Everything is finished.
More than 60 female civil servants have banded together. They shared some of the exchanges on their messaging group.
We earned our jobs. If we accept this, it means we have betrayed ourselves.
What's our crime? They want me to give my job to my brother.
If we do this, we are removing ourselves from society. Please don't give up. We should be unified.
Women haven't completely disappeared from the streets or ministries like health, education, security. There are spaces only for women. This market has just reopened in the western city of Herat. This was the first day. Women a bit nervous. Shops still empty.
This is it?
Yes,
It's your shop?
Today is closed.
Yes. When? Oh, look at your sewing machines.
18-year-old Suhaila is excited. She's reopening this dress shop with her big sister. But she should be in her last year of school. Suhaila was the top student in her class. But the Taliban shut most high schools.
I'm very sad to if I finish the school, I started university. But I can't go to university because I'm not graduated from school.
Was it hard for you? No school, no shop. How hard was it?
I think it's not for me, and for all of the girls of Afghanistan, it's a sad memory that he ended in school. Sorry?
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's hard here too, far away in the Central Highlands. This is one of Afghanistan's poorest provinces. Since the Taliban took over, even poorer. And there's still no aid to their government. For the destitute and desperate, agonizing choices. This woman gave her daughter in marriage for about £1,000. She's only 6 years old. So is her husband-to-be.
She's too young, but I gave her away because we have no food. So my other children don't die of hunger. It's still very hard, but now she can eat with her in-laws. I had no other option but to give her away.
Child marriage is prohibited but pervasive in Afghanistan, but not this young. We've hidden the identity of mother, daughter, and son.
Her in-laws told me they will take care of her, like their own child, because she's so young. They told me, don't worry.
What mother wouldn't worry? What child wouldn't weep? A new generation takes shape in a new Afghanistan. The Taliban say the rights of boys and girls within Islam will be respected. But 1 year on, there's growing fear that girls who are learning to lead will be left far behind.
Lise